technical things set. Joe, could you adjust the back camera? Is there? No, I got it. The focus was off. I think I was just out of focus, not the camera. That was me. There we're set. Yeah, I'll get the lights back here. Okay, thanks, Eric. And again, we're going to afterwards have time to look at some of this stuff and put your, remember, tickets in the raffle cups. But let's go over some of the announcements first. I'm not sure, yeah, it's there, I'm in focus now. Good. Welcome all. We'll start the meeting off with our announcements. Upcoming meetings. September 30th, Zoom presentation. It's next Friday, Stanley and Shirley Berman, Exploring France and Italy. Now, this is from Photographic Society of America. I can't vouch for their pictures. They don't have a website, but I read their thing. Apparently, they flew to Paris, spent days in Paris, went down a canal, got a car, drove to this town, they got 20 towns, and then in Italy, all that. So it sounds like, even if they're just snapshots, they did a heck of a lot of stuff and saw a lot. So it should be an interesting presentation. And that's next week. The week after is our first bee competition. That is going to be a print competition, not projection. There was some confusion on the website. This will be a print competition, and I really, really encourage all of those people who are beginning and starting off to start competing. Again, we use, I think they can hear me out there too, we use benign judges. We use our club members and whatnot. So if you're worried about all of that, you don't worry. It's a very nice way to get your pictures critiqued, and that is on October 7th. Then we have October 14th, a people competition, which will be projection. And then a very interesting presentation on October 21st will be a Zoom presentation by Kathleen Clemens, who does nothing but flower photography. And she does have a website that we have listed on our calendar, and it's extremely interesting. She does a lot of frozen flowers, where she puts them in ice and whatnot, and just tremendous. I am not a flower person, and I really love looking through her website. So again, that should be an interesting presentation. That's October 21st. I didn't mean I don't like flowers. It's just, they're not what I photograph usually. This Sunday is our Rob Eric Celebration of Life. This will be in the clubhouse here. For all those who knew of Rob, we invite you to attend. We're going to have refreshments, drinks. We're going to go over a lot of Rob's life and just kind of celebrate it. This will not be broadcast. And if there's any little anecdote, if you can't make it, and there's a little anecdote or just something you'd like to say about Rob, you could email it to info@clevelandphoto.org, and I'd be glad to read it on Sunday. And that is this Sunday right here in the clubhouse. At the end of October, 29th and 30th, it's Saturday and Sunday, we're going to be having an equipment sale to sell all of Rob's equipment. Rob had a lot of equipment. The family really doesn't have a use for it. We have offered to sell the equipment, and all the proceeds will go to his family. They'll go back to his family. It's going to be cash or check only, all equipment as is, but he has a ton of stuff. Camera bodies, lenses, tripods, lighting equipment, accessories. He has strobes that work, and he has strobes that don't work. If you want to, pay $1 and see if you could fix it too. But we just really heavily discounted this all. We don't want to make a profit on this. We just want to get rid of it and get the income to his family. So everything is just priced to move. And that'll be in the clubhouse here, Saturday and Sunday, October 29th and 30th. Our Westlake Porter Library exhibition, the entries are underway. There's another few weeks for that. The theme is outdoors. They're going to be exhibiting at the Westlake Library about 40 pictures. Again, outdoors, landscapes, cityscapes, nature photography, street photography, outdoor flowers, not indoors, outdoor animals, outdoor people, and outdoor objects. We couldn't have made the category more broad, so there's not an excuse that, well, I don't have anything like that as well. So all the information about the exhibit is on our competitions page on the CPS website, so just peruse that and just upload photos that you have. Our field trip photo gallery, a lot of you have been putting stuff up on that. I really enjoy looking through. I got to see what the jets look like at the air show since I was there on the rainy day. A lot of you had tremendous photos there. And our Back to the Wild link from last week's field trip is now up for uploading pictures. CPS name tags, again, there's a sign-up sheet in the back. New name tags with the name and the date that you joined are going to be issued free of charge, but you have to sign up for that. The sign-up sheet in the back. One of the most common things I teach in the fundamental school, one of the most common things that students tell me are, you know, I've got a Nikon Z9 or a Sony whatever. My pictures are tack sharp, but I don't get no respect. Nothing like that. And I tell them, like, what hat are you wearing? You know what? I mean, you gotta have the clothes. That's the thing too. Or it's, you know, the pictures are only half of it. Our logo wear, shameless plugging, is in the back. We are selling down our inventory before I order more. There's stuff also in the back room that's kept unlocked there. So just peruse at your heart's content. And business cards, again, when people ask you, where'd you get that hat or whatnot, or, you know, how'd you get in to see the Goodyear blimp, you know, into the hangar there and whatnot? Well, it's through the club. It's one of the club field trips too. Give them a card. They're not going to remember the email address or whatnot too, but again, the card is a generic card. We have plenty up there. Just give it to them. And finally, all of our public meetings or whatnot are on our YouTube channel when I can get the equipment working here. So feel free to watch these. The competition tonight is televised also, so watch it at your convenience. So at this point, the judges are still out judging. I am going, for all of you at home, you'll see just the screen there I'll leave on, but hang in there. Everything will start up again when the judges come in. And in here in the clubhouse, I'll turn up the lights so we can see Eric's stuff. You can put your things in the raffle and look at the stuff on the wall.
So I have to check out this salad.
Just was part of the sample. So I thought it was really pretty, and then I made a mistake.
Which one's the Italian?
It's always a challenge.
I mean, that's actually, I would say this is awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Luster.
These two the same. Just check the size of the bags, the shirt, with the drawings. Check the size of the shirt. Same shirt. This has some color. That's like third place, second place, first place. In front of your light. It's about the colors, like some light.
Oh, yeah.
Silhouette.
Do you like it too?
Right.
Like,
That's the light.
stamping on things, stuff like that, or then whatever you bought somewhere else, and you got a whole basement full of stuff? Yes. Do you really?
I mean, I did it and I love it.
Really?
Word, this is canvas.
What do you say?
Thanks for pointing that out, because which one is the linen? Here's the
Clean it.
This one definitely.
Mostly
Wendy and Brian.
Here it is. It's like
Yeah. But some of the lenses might also things.
Really, you can print on your own? Really? Yeah.
So you can buy this
Pretty good. I'll say 80% of it. This is my doctor. Grab. And I got my photography part. Yeah. Look at the shirts. Make sure you grab the size.
Down in New Orleans for a wedding. Those are still in my camera.
Did you drive down there? I don't have to stand license. I think I can stand
I had an opportunity to go to a workshop.
In New Orleans.
Oh, yeah.
Where he's going to spend.
We stayed in downtown. Downtown.
So Marge, what do you and they have a whole setup. Provided my
Tried that. It wasn't. I've never been to New Orleans. Or you go stories. It doesn't quite during the it had done Bohemian Rhapsody. If you want to know, jazz clubs are at and all that kind of stuff. Then I stay away from it all day. We walk down there, just a little bit down there during the day.
Everybody has different tastes. They still travel a long time.
We flew on American Airlines.
244.
That's what I we went we had a 6:30 a.m. flight out. We were fortunate that my daughter stayed up with the thing the night before.
Wow.
And we go and watch text message, email, whatever. Well, we got both my wife and my wife. And she finally got on the phone from where she.
Yeah, I think I did. When I down
She got new tickets instead of the 6:30 flight. So this is already before she got it. We went to sleep.
1,050 euros killed cars.
Got up and
That might be easier to go.
unfortunately, American Airlines, they charge you.
Good. Pictures come out all right?
They charge you going there. Going there and what's coming back. They get you it.
going around soon, vendors I
Marge, every year I go to St. Louis.
I had one like that, but he was just very busy. When you're meeting
Are we fine?
how many did you get?
Coming back.
Using iPhotos. I don't have a Mac anymore, and I didn't have one for very long, but people have told me that you don't want to let your photos get controlled by the app. It's a mess. Well, his wife keeps a iPhone.
Sometimes it's organized, sometimes it's not. And I buy containers to put the stuff in. And then I never
I have a horse with a really bad story for you. Don't ask me why. A lot of people I knew were using Macs. This is many years ago. And I decided, okay, I'm going to get a Mac. I got a MacBook Pro, very cheap. And because I still had my PC, I was using both, and I never really learned the Mac. And I'm like, well, this is just double work. But while I had them both, I tried to copy the pictures from my PC through a drive on my Mac, and it interrupted the file, and as a friend with a computer geek said, I lost all those pictures. Dummy me. A long time ago, I didn't have another backup. Those were the only ones I had. And awesome.
How's the person sitting?
Well, of course, because
Mac.
now I have
Well, I got stuff on every wall of my house. Because my parents over-furnished it. I didn't get rid of it. I just added furniture I had to get my apartment before I moved here after my father died. So I've got so much clutter.
I'm trying to picture my light room.
Okay.
Because there's a place we set there's a checkbox. It's down in the bottom. I'm trying to picture, but I'm going to take care of it.
check it out.
I don't want it.
I think my nephew has a calibrator, so I'm not buying anything right now.
Because I'm just going to look at numbers.
I
Look at
know.
that computer. Doesn't matter what size. It's all there.
You don't have one? Well, that's where you get a calibrator and follow the instructions.
Well, light room. They send it out for a light room. Light room is light room. No matter what.
See now, the
But
monitor,
there is, you know, that export dialog. The export dialog box.
Calibrates itself.
It lets you say all metadata.
Well, I'm not talking about
Different,
this
you got different things.
It's extremely accurate OLED screen, so
Make sure they check
and it's not very bright, so it probably doesn't need to be turned down.
Cool.
But I spent a fortune.
I want a new printer, is what I want.
See, I had a printer, I had an Epson printer, and I thought it did fine, but it only does 8x10, and now it's just got streaks, and I've cleaned the heads, I've done everything, and it was only, well, what do you want for
It's
a year-old product?
Here's what I want you to try. When you set up the print, tell it you're using print paper. Tell it you're using photographic paper.
Oh, I always do.
Yeah.
Yeah, but do you?
Yeah,
And mine
it just keeps
mine's having a I always
where are you printing your prints for competition?
See, that's the problem. I've been going with 8x10s and using my old hand printer, but the color's off, and I don't know why.
I use Dahlia. For me, it's a 20-minute ride.
If you want just glossy or matte paper, or walk, for a small, for an 8x10.
He probably doesn't read it, but he sold that to stuff there, I'm sure.
I did go see her. I've done a couple things. I know you tried to
I've got some tripods, they've broken down and
it's a kind of serious. I did one that handle. I don't know what the artist was doing, what it looks like. I don't know. Mount that what I do. I have to figure out what color
Just bring it to a right here.
I have those big lenses.
I've been thinking about what type of, because a lot of those guys, workmen, whoever,
Well, 40 to 1.
I wonder if he would be
That's our fundamentals.
fundamentals, so good
Because I tried
teaching
it.
people.
I don't have the ones like that.
Yeah.
He was a good man.
You didn't get a plate to
That's why I'm.
It is.
When they moved here from Cleveland to Broadview Heights,
Okay.
there was an ad in the paper about an intro to photography for my daughter. And
That's all there is to it.
I said, we're going to this, just to get it in.
Plate on the tripod.
They did their presentation.
Screw it in, there's a
Rob
screw.
sat with my daughter.
Screw it into the bottom of the lens or the bottom of the camera, and then you can slip it right in.
That's why
I've never done it because what was like handheld most of the time.
His hairdresser,
It
it was my hairdresser. She talked, or he talked about it.
My head's filled with
And
trivia.
she would say, oh my God, have you heard of this strawberry? No, I haven't heard of it.
Don't hesitate to ask.
And she
I
talked
may
about it
not
all the
be
time. And
experienced,
then my nephew Tony
but
said,
conceptually I know a lot.
you know, Fran, I want you to come and let's join this club.
You don't know if you don't know.
It's the thing that altered my life. It really and truly is. And by Rob's instruction and guidance, loving and caring, he was so patient, so kind.
with everybody.
It's like, that's, and when I said to him, Rob, you have altered my life. You know, for him, it's like, oh, that just means so much to me. But it was true. It was true.
I met Mike twice, and there was a
The last time I saw him, he was sitting in the bathroom, and it was one of the last times that he just came that I remember him. I saw him, and I knew he wasn't feeling it.
He was here, I want to say,
Wildlife. Stop for lunch.
maybe
Landscape,
maybe a
group
month before he
driving the van. So that's gonna be fun. Fran's in on that. Some nighttime shots of
I came in here, it was a fluke in the middle of the afternoon, to pick something up. And then I came in, and I walked in the office, and he's sitting in his chair at a big.
I like the guy,
And his wife was.
and he's kind of knowledgeable, but it's more like, just go here and shoot. It's like, okay.
Okay, if we get a point for seats then, we're gonna get the competition underway.
That was fun.
We'll get started here in just a bit. Those of you at home, don't worry, we'll have the images up when we do start.
Hey, Mike.
Hi, Fran, how are you?
Good.
I'm gonna check out.
You're talking.
Get a sample cast of paper.
So it's not like I just want you to know that.
No, I know.
One of the office supplies stores years ago. And I bought a bunch of paper. Like I bought Epson paper and matte papers in effect. And it won't feed through my printer.
I gotta.
You got that right.
Like I fix it.
Yeah.
The color was me. I changed things. I don't know what.
Chris Camino?
That line stuck up on me and I thought, yeah. Well, I don't need to be the bad shot.
Okay, we're going to get underway. Tonight is our nature competition. And I'd like at this time to have the judges just introduce themselves, just say a little, few words about themselves.
Hello? Okay. Hi, my name is Bill Naiman, and I consider myself to be a very enthusiastic hobbyist. I'm native to the Cleveland area, retired from
I'm good with technology, as you can tell. I'm Debbie DiCarlo. I used to belong to this club, fabulous club. Thank you for inviting me to come back to be a judge. I have been photographing probably, well, since I was about maybe 10 years old, so, when I retired about 5 years ago from my corporate job, I started lead photo workshops. So if you're interested in that, my website is www.photography.com, and I've got two very cool workshops coming up in the fall. But thanks for having me here.
Yeah, hi, I'm Cardinal. I've judged before, past president of SONA. Let's see, I was making money in photography since the 7th grade when I to the Cleveland Press. So I've been in it ever since, and then
Yeah, don't hold it. When I hold it, turn it, just tap it. So hold it, turn it.
okay.
You're on.
I'm on. I don't have to repeat myself, do I?
No.
Oh, okay. I hate to be boring. Okay, yeah, so over the years, I've done a lot for hire. Had very critical customers, and that you learn a lot. When you knock yourself out, turn in your work, and they look at you and they go, yeah, I just don't like that shade in the corner over there, which had nothing to do with the photograph, but anyway. So here I am, retired and enjoying life. Thanks for inviting me. Okay, thank you very much. And we're just going to take a second here while I get these pictures up here on the screen. Yes.
I would love to do that. I can't put this Monday, but I can the following or something. Yeah, I would love to. My friend Serena.
I've had problems. Yeah, well,
Want to go to the action?
there were the first couple times.
Oh, was it? Just chill. And just like a little rubber thing that holds onto your buns. And you just go like this. It does really cool for Christmas lights and stuff too. For zooming in and out. Yeah, and it's smooth. Like it's just, and then when you're doing the long exposures, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or whatever it is. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun.
It's got all the I've given up for a while, but the lenses will typically, they won't be rated millimeters, they'll be rated in hours, like 40 hours.
Oh, and they fought.
Okay, when they're dealing with technical difficulties, we will do the raffle. This is pile 1. Okay, looks like they're having technical difficulties, so we're going to do the raffle now rather than waiting by the end of the day. So item number 1, there's only a couple tickets in here, but it's the Pentax shirt, Dodd thumb drive, Rico cleaning cloth, and a Panasonic Lumix bag. And the last 4 digits are 5478. Hey, we got somebody. Yay! That much is right there. I just tossed it.
But it's like, what is it?
All right, second one is basically the same thing except for different size shirts. So hope you were paying attention to what sizes the shirts were. These out of the way. Oops, upside down. The last 4 digits are 5477. Ah. Wow. Yay!
It's a family affair.
Yeah.
Now you won something.
Now they can be matching twins.
All right. Second place. Exactly the same thing. Again, different size shirt. But you also get the Roscoe Color Effect Gel Kit. If you have not played with gels on your lights, are actually really fun to play with. Upside down. 5489.
should be in here somewhere.
Oh, there we go. Yay! There you go. Of course, I'm sure the one's got the most tickets in it. Yeah. All right, we got the Panasonic Lumix bag, Rico cleaning cloth, .USB, and thanks to Ceramonic, a Ceramonic V-Mic 5 Pro shotgun mic, which is like a $250, $300-ish microphone. Five. It's not a 5-4 number. It's a 5-5 number. 02.
Oh my gosh.
There you go.
I'll bring it to you, Fran, when I go smoke a cigarette. I'll bring it to you.
Okay, thank you. Apologize for the technical difficulties there. We are all set to get underway. Okay, and we have our first image up.
You ready? Okay. I like this image very much. It's, I like the way the sun rays are shown. You know, they're not all blown out, they're not overdone. It looks very, very natural. The foreground looks nice and crisp. It's inviting, it's very pleasing, pleasant mood. And I think this would look nice in about a 20 by 30 on somebody's wall.
This is God Rays by Joanne Damian. 23 points, honorable mention.
This is a very pretty image of some grasses. The technically it looks very sharp. I like the composition. The blue seems a little unnatural to me. I'm not sure why, but it does make the grasses pop because it looks like they're kind of side-lit, which is very pleasing to the eye.
I apologize up front if I butcher your name. The image is Swaying in the Wind by Bonnie Luxo, 20 points.
Good composition. We have, if we could have just got him to smile a little bit, but good job.
The image is Yellowstone Bison by Rich Foley, 21 points.
To me, this was an almost really, really good picture. I would really like to have seen some of the eyes. I think it loses a little bit of contact with the bird by just seeing the feathers over the eyes. And I don't know if one could have waited just a little bit longer for the pose to change, or maybe the bird to raise its head a little bit. But in a portrait of an animal, the eye contact and the crispness of the eye, crispness, not Christmas, crispness of the eyes is really, really important to relate to the animal.
The image is called Old and Grizzled by Bill Keaton, 23 points, honorable mention.
I'm so glad I got this photo to critique. This is just so impactful, that yellow, that vibrant yellow against the nice dark background, beautiful bokeh. It looks to be sharp throughout the flower. It's absolutely gorgeous. If I had one little nitpick, I would say that it needs a little bit of breathing room on either side. It feels like the petals are just touching the outside of the mat, or the inside of the mat, and I feel like there should just be a tad bit more room there. But otherwise, this is a beauty.
The image is Yellow Dahlia by Marge Brady, 23 points, honorable mention.
We have the fog coming in. I like the wisp of the clouds. This is somebody that took their time waiting for the image to change and then grabbed it. I like it.
The image is Enchanted Peak by Mike Kopkis, 21 points.
It's a nice photo. It doesn't really have a very strong impact for me, and from a technical point of view, I did ask to look at it up close, and at least to my eyes, it did look like the birds were a little overexposed and that their feathers lost their detail, and you know, that was a detraction when looking at it up close.
The image is Egret Crossing by Dennis Wirt, 24 points, third place.
This is a very pretty image of these mountains. Very serene. It's someplace I would like to see someday. I really like this. It feels a little cooler to me. Yeah, the snow is cooler, but the foreground rocks seem very cold, almost as if they were maybe manipulated in Photoshop somehow to be made a little bit, I don't know, colder is the only way I can describe it. And I wish there would have been some clouds in the sky to give the sky some emphasis and some texture. But otherwise, you know what I might do with this photo is to get rid of some of this foreground, which is very, very dark and kind of takes up, you know, about a third of that image, would be to crop it so you're getting, maybe take a little slice down the side and off the bottom, and minimize the amount of dark space there in the corner. And I think that you would then have a very lovely image.
The image is Glacier Bay, Alaska, Eric Weddington, 22 points.
One of my favorite subjects. This is something that I would probably maybe a 40 by 50 up on the wall and over the fireplace, and just people coming in and just admiring it. Very nice.
The image is Silhouette by Vicki Wirt, 26 points, first place.
This is a good shot. I think this is one of those things that takes a while to get, that you have to be very, very patient. To me, though, the bird did look a little bit contrasty for my liking, but I do think it was nice and crisp. And again, the timing of that, I know I've tried getting some of these kind of shots. That takes a lot of patience, and in that respect, it was very well done.
The image is Lunchtime by Susan Vestal, 22 points.
It's a very pretty image of this tree. I think for my liking, it feels a little washed out. The greens seem, I'm not quite sure. It doesn't have the impact that it might have had at a different time of day with some different light. The sky is pretty white, and you know, you can't do much about that other than come back at another time when the sky is more interesting, and add a little bit more contrast to that tree in the foreground, because it's just lacking something. Overall, it's a lovely image. It's composed very well. I love that you have the lake horizon straight, which is sometimes overlooked. But I think the time of day is what you were missing there. Is just maybe side lighting or softer morning or afternoon or evening lighting might have benefited this photo a lot.
The image is Happy Horizontal by Bonnie Luxco, 19 points.
It's a little too big to be Bald Mountain, but I think my colleague would have probably said the same thing I'm going to say right now, and that is a little more tighter cropping on the mountain itself, and the foreground have it be diminished, and I would like it a lot better.
The image is St. Helens Vista by Mike Kopkis, 22 points.
A nice picture of a sparrow. I like that they left the snowflakes, I assume that's snow, in the picture. And if anything, again, it's tough with birds like this, but if the bird's head would move a little bit to be away from the, what looks like a pricker, you know, that detracts a little bit right below its beak, and you know, that might be asking too much to get the shot like that. Sometimes moving your feet a little bit to the left or the right can change that angle, although in this case I'm not sure it would. So if I was shooting this, I would take this shot for sure, but then I would stand by to see if the bird's going to give me a little bit more space between that right branch and its beak.
The image is Sparrow in the Snow by Marge Brady, 21 points.
What a beautiful bird this is, and taken so well. We looked at this one up close. It's nicely sharp. I mean, everything about this is sharp. You've got that beautiful side look of that, the beak and the eye, those wings spread out. You see every single feather against this dark background with a very good depth of field. I mean, the rock face behind the bird is softly blurred, but yet the feathers, even though the farthest wing, the back feathers are still sharp at the tips. The only thing that I would have done with this is in Photoshop is brighten up those talons, because I believe there's something in those talons. And there's even some water droplets, which you might not be able to see up, well, you probably can see on the screen up there. But the water droplets could have been accentuated a little bit more, but otherwise stunner.
The image is Majestic Flight by Bob Kowaleski, 26 points, first place.
I just wanted to add on the eagle shot, I don't know if you noticed, but the eye was tack sharp.
You know, one other thing I want to say is, and maybe I speak for my other judges, I don't know, we've seen some outstanding images tonight. I mean, I've got to say, there have been really fabulous images tonight. You guys should all be proud of yourselves.
Thank you.
Here we have a work in progress. I mean, the bee is in progress. To get the shot is to take the time, and done well.
The image is Bee and Crepe Myrtle by Gary Blum, 22 points.
Really nice flower image. I'm not sure what flower that is. I like the contrasting colors. I think they're very well handled. It's a nice depth of field, very, very sharp. And as you see a lot of pictures that are similar to this, but don't have this one had some wow factor to me just because of the central portion being so sharp, and then no fall off in the depth of field right out to the corners. And I think this would look good also as an enlargement.
The image is Peony by Vicki Wirt, 25 points, second place.
Like my fellow judge said earlier, sometimes you have to be very patient to get a shot like this, probably waiting for this bird to take flight. The great blue heron is an amazing bird to photograph because they move kind of slow, so you're not chasing them too hard. This is a really pretty reflection. I love the way the bird is reflected in the water. My only nitpick with this image is, and I think the aperture you chose is very good. The bird is nice and sharp. The reflection is nice and sharp. But the downside of having sharp image or sharp feathers throughout the bird is you're also getting a lot of sharpness in the background. So the reeds behind there and then the green reflections in the water are in some ways fighting with the actual bird. But otherwise, I think this is a very, very pleasing image.
The image is Heron in Flight by Rich Foley, 23 points, honorable mention.
I've seen a lot of images similar to this, but this one really caught my eye. I like the texture, and from the top to the bottom. I love it.
The image is Surfing the Wave by Bill Keaton, 26 points, first place.
very pretty owl image. Again, I think these are hard to get and have the bird look right at you, which adds to the picture. The only thing that I might like to see is just a little toning down of the background, over the bird's head, because it does compete with the bird's eyes a little bit. But the portrait of the bird itself and the subject is very, very sharp, and that's helpful.
The image is Great Horned Owl by Susan Vestal, 25 points, second place.
Another pretty portrait of a bird, this time it looks like a female cardinal. Nicely composed. I like that the branch is going across the image, but at a slight angle, so it's not completely straight across. The bird is centered, which for my eye is a little too centered. I'd like to see it off to one side or another, because it's looking to the left. Maybe you would crop a little bit off the right side, so the bird was a little bit more looking into the thirds. It's unfortunate that it looks like this portrait may have been taken at a very bright time of day, maybe midday, when the sun is really, really high in the sky. There's a significant shadow underneath the bird, and some of the feathers seem to be a little washed out. So yeah, we take these photos when we get them, but this would have probably benefited from a little bit different time of day, just to soften up the feathers a little bit, the light on the feathers a little bit. But there's a beautiful catchlight in the eye, which is very pleasing.
The image is Madam Cardinal by Gary Blum, 23 points, honorable mention.
That bird's molting. She's molting, yeah. Difficult. Well, Clyde's here. He's checking everybody out and making a decision. I like the tortoise, but I don't like the background, and the reason being is that it's almost the same tone. And I don't know how you would have been able to separate that. If you'd have been able to do that, I would knock it up 4 or 5 more notches.
The image is Tommy Turtle by Fran Marino, 22 points.
I don't mean to be rough, but it's a picture of a giraffe. It's not evocative. It needs a little bit more room to move on the right side of the picture. I think, tracking the animal for a while, you might have gotten a little bit more favorable pose. Maybe something a little more classic. Leg position could be a little bit different. Just waiting for it to take a step forward or so. And this looks like this was shot with a very narrow aperture, because the background, the leaves of the trees are very, very crisp. There's no softness to it. I think this could be improved.
The image is Baby G Plane by Fran Marino, 21 points.
And I think that concludes our nature, and I will move on now to pictorial.
So it looks like some angry waves and some angry sky. it appears to me that the photographer took a little bit longer exposure, or those clouds were moving really fast, because it seems we have some smearing in the clouds, which really adds, I think, to the mood. The water, which is kind of a green color, again, adds to the mood, is a little angry looking. I think this image could benefit from a slight crop, to remove a little bit of the sand, which to me is somewhat uninteresting and just kind of bland here in the foreground. Just crop from the right side and the bottom just a little bit, and put that lifeguard's chair kind of in the corner of the photo, and then you've got that beautiful moody sky and lake or ocean or whatever that is, and I think you've got a winner.
The image is Season's End by Bob Kowaleski, 22 points.
Well, we got one working in the picture, the other ones are just goofing off. I love it. It's that would be one that I probably would have done maybe 200 and 300 frames, but it tells the story.
The image is Roughin' It by Barb Cerrito, 24 points, third place.
Interesting shot. I think the nighttime scene in the foreground is well done. But to my mind, I think the sky looks a little overbaked. The contrast between the highlights and the darks looks like that might have been accentuated. And to that extent, I don't think it has a very realistic appearance in the sky. So I don't know how that was processed, but my eyes were drawn to that real bright spot in the upper right-hand corner. But again, I think it's almost blown out, and in that, trying to point, you can't see me point, but that one section, it looks almost white. It's and then those dark clouds, it just looks a little unnatural to me in a way that is not endearing me to the picture.
The image is City by Sunset by Eric Weddington, 20 points.
Oh my goodness. Look at that face. I mean, yeah, she is adorable, such a cutie pie. And captured really, really well. The light on her face is just so pleasing. The bokeh behind her, I don't know what those soft green, you see them up there? Can't really see them up there, but in the print, there's these beautiful, like soft greenish blue, like orbs or something, and it's just so pleasing. She's looking at us. She's got that sweet little smile, beautifully lit. Just I think, a very pleasing portrait of this child.
The image is Fun at the County Fair by Marge Brady, 24 points, third place.
Well, this is what happens when you're looking for your beer. Everything is going for it. I like the composition. I like the reds. I like the whole treatment.
The image is Gorilla by Joanne Damien, 25 points, second place.
Looks like tree swallows doing their thing. I think the sky has been enhanced, but in this case I think it works because it's contrasting to the tree, contrasting to the birds, and it's actually drawing me to the subjects as opposed to away from the subjects. So in that respect, I think the artistic flair on the sky, the liberties that were taken, I assume they were liberties, I thought they worked very well in this case.
The image is Spring is in the Air by Rich Foley, 21 points.
And this is spring too. How pretty are these tulips? Compositionally, I really like it. We've got some in the background, some in the foreground. It's framed really well. We don't have anything that's going off the sides that I would, not want to see going off the sides. This is composed really nicely. As far as the lighting goes, the two tulips that are in the foreground seem very, very dark to me. They could have used a little pop of light. I don't know if you have these tulips in a window somewhere. It might have just taken a white card to pop a little light up into there, to reflect a little light back up into those two front tulips, to just give them a little bit of life, because they seem a little dark when you compare them to the rest of the tulips, but otherwise it's just a very pretty image.
The image is High Key Floral by Bill Keaton, 22 points.
Okay, we have two photographs here, and that's, I don't know, being a portrait photographer, that's what comes to my mind. I would have separated it, but what we have is good composition, and for those that like it, it's okay.
The image is Mora and Matt by Susan Vestal, 22 points.
I really like this picture. I think the lady in what to me looks like a period dress makes me think back to something maybe in the 1800s, early 1900s, of a lady tending to her garden. Gives me a sense of time and place, and I think it was very well done.
The image is Picking Posies by Jackie Sajewski, 25 points, second place.
Such an interesting plant. I was trying to figure out what it was, and I guess I can't even guess. An interesting, I don't even know, it's just it's such an interesting plant. It feels like it's pointing to the clouds, which is fascinating to me. Everything is rendered very well, because you've got this dark background and the white clouds. You could have had, the photographer could have had a problem exposing this, but they didn't. It feels like it's exposed very well. The clouds are nicely defined, and there's texture in them, which I really like. The horizon is straight, which is kudos, because again, sometimes the horizons aren't straight, and that can be off-putting. The only thing that bothers me is there seems to be a lack of contrast in the leaves at the very base of this plant. And whatever this dark mass is to the left of the plant, maybe a rock or something, it feels a little washed out, those two items, and maybe could have used just a tad bit of contrast in there.
The image is Reaching for the Sky by Bonnie Luxo, 21 points.
I love old buildings and texture, and the only thing missing, I like the composition. The only thing missing there is the bride.
The image is Prison Passageway by Mike Kopkis, 26 points, first place.
Yeah, I don't know how it's showing on the screen, or how it showed on the screen, but with the print, the tones captured are really, really, really nice. It's a very inviting picture, and it could have been a bride coming through, it could have been a swashbuckler. I thought the perspective that was done nicely, the lines are straight, yet they do vanish into a vanishing point through the doorway. It calls me right into it. Really, really well done.
And as I look at the print that you guys are seeing up on the screen, a lot of these photos are really saturated, or something is different up here on the screen. So I would encourage you, and I'm sure you guys all do, is to come around and look at them on the wall, because the colors are just spectacular in this.
Picture of a helicopter. One of the things I liked is it is showing motion to the blades, so it doesn't look like the blades are frozen in time, which is an easy mistake to make when shooting rotorcraft. You might not be able to tell on the screen, but I did look at this fairly closely, and the sharpness is right on with the person being loaded in the basket, and the can't call him pilot, co-pilot, your crew member who's lowering the basket. I mean, it's really, really tack. Been nice if they'd have had maybe a little different cloud background, but even so, the helicopter stands out, and as helicopters go, this one was done very nicely.
The image is called Rescue Copter by Eric Weddington, 21 points.
Some grungy old automobiles. Looks like it's been sitting under a pine tree. It's got all those pine needles on it. It's very cool rust. I see about a dozen or more little tiny vignettes in here. Just, you could have, the photographer, maybe the photographer did, move in and just get sections of this car, because there's so much cool things going on here. My only little nit is that it could use a little breathing room at the top. So we have some breathing room underneath those tail lights, but the wing or the fin or whatever that top thing is called, it just is bumping up against the top of the frame or the mat, and I wish it was had a little bit more breathing room. But otherwise, this is a really cool image.
The image is called Krusty Caddy by Dennis Wirt, 22 points.
I love the hair, the expression. I'm not quite sure, but the hands are good. Sometimes photographs are done and the hands are too big when they're close, and very well done.
The image is Studious Senior by Jackie Sieski, 26 points, first place.
To me, this is an excellent picture of Severance Hall. Architecturally, it's spot on. They're drawn right to the center. The walls are nice and straight on the sides, very well framed. And since one of our criteria was if the picture is evocative, and it does bring me back to Severance Hall. And I don't know how you get a real wow into something like this, but as an architectural picture, it's doggone great.
The image is Severance Hall Auditorium by Vicki Wirt, 25 points, second place.
Oh boy. So many laughs and giggles as soon as this photo came up on your screen. This is just adorable. I don't even know what to say. The dog has got a smile, the shark has a smile. The colors are the bokeh behind the dog. I don't know if that's a wall or I don't even know what it is, but it's pleasing. It kind of has the same shade of blue as the little scuba gear. It's cute as heck.
The image is Beach Boy by Barb Cerrito, 24 points, third place.
Sunset. It's losing a little in the foreground. Other than that, good composition.
The image is Wendy Park Sunset by Rick Mills, 22 points.
Wish I knew what the flowers were. The flowers themselves, well done. The one in the upper right looks like the primary focus point. I'm not swept off my feet, by the perimeter. It's not really adding much, to the flowers themselves, and not really sure how to explain it, but some of the leaves are somewhat in focus, some are soft, but it's not really drawing me towards the center. They're competing in a way, and I'm stepping on my cord here. Yeah, so the leaves are, I think, competing a little bit with the primary subject.
The image is St. John's Wort by Gary Blum, 22 points.
So yeah, one of our criteria was impact, or how the photo impacts you, and this is very, very impactful. Just the tones and the colors in here. You've got these warm lights, and then you've got this blue dress in a very interesting, being held out or being blown, or I can't even decide what it's her arms bringing the dress up. It's just beautiful, beautifully framed within the doorway or that balcony or whatever that is. It's very, very pleasing. I didn't see anything in this photo that I would have changed at all.
The image is Balcony Views by Jackie Sajewski, 24 points, third place.
With this one, I thought one of the things that I liked about it was the attention to symmetry. You know, in the upper right, in the upper left-hand corner, it's just, you know, right on. And left to right, you know, it's very, very symmetrical. And, you know, it could have been cropped in just a touch on the left to perfectly match the right. But little things like that are what adds to a picture like this, and that if would have been a little askew horizontally, it just would have detracted. In this case, though, I think it's a good example of how the symmetry really, really helps, you know, the overall picture.
The best dog photo of the evening. Oh, geez, there's the sign. Loving animals, the only thing I could say is I would just like to see a little more of the horse.
The image is called Horse by Dennis Wirt, 19 points.
Of course.
Looks like a classic car. I can't really recognize the car, but definitely the emphasis is on the ornament over the headlight. I think it's well done. I would like to actually see a little bit more of, you know, the left side of the picture. I would want to bring more attention to like the headlight, and because the ornament almost acts like a leading line or a pointer, you know, to show me something. And I think I'm being deprived of that aspect of the picture. And a little bit of softening or blurring of the background, a little bit more, I think, might be helpful too. I don't know if those are radiator parts or what, but I think if they were a little bit more indistinct, I think that might help the picture.
One little thing there, you have the photographer in the picture.
The image is 56 Nomad by Rick Mills, 19 points.
Such an interesting pose of two folks. They look like they're very much in like or love or something. Beautiful dresses. I love the ornate. There's candles or lights and the draperies and the flowers. Very ornate. There's a lot going on in this photo. And because of that, I mean, it's all very beautiful and it tells a story, but because there's so much detail and everything is so sharp, I'm kind of losing a little bit of the emphasis that I'd like to see on this couple. Maybe cropping it so it's just their heads and her arms and her hands so gently, you know, holding him. You know, something a little bit more intimate might have been more impactful. But this as a photo of captured a point in time, I think it's lovely. But if you want something more artistic, maybe eliminate a lot of those details, all those very sharp details, and just focus in on that couple.
The image is A Bangladeshi Sweet Blessing by Fran Marino, 21 points.
And that concludes our pictures for the night. We want to thank our judges very, very much for donating their time here and our comments. So again, thank you again, and thank you all for coming. Feel free to go around and look at the pictures up close.
No, I think I'm out of here.
But yeah, it's cool that. I'll let you
Make sure you got your number. Belinda, hold on a second.
I haven't heard.
I think so, right?
Yeah. I had an email today. So
I had to put it in Victoria because.
Yep, Belinda Furnace.
I got you. Right there, the box in the way. Because I was going to put it in.
Probably not.
They were moving there.
Oh,
That's what
oh, I see what you're saying.
M-O-R?
Thank you.
No, that's the kind of thing I would be. That could be added.
I have many of those stamps.
Now, do you want to pay for it?
Now, obviously, there was.
Right, right.
Okay.
Well, I wanted to clarify. I wasn't looking for this.
That's because.
But if I wasn't going to very good, I had you.
Yeah.
That's a long time ago.
It's going back to his old life.
Wait a minute. Take a step forward. You're not supposed to do that.
Right.
That's all it was. I wasn't looking for
Right, I think that's legitimate, but you did have eyes.
Even if I